Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. On another occasion, Jesus began to teach by the sea. A large crowd gathered around him, so that he got into a boat on the sea and sat down. And the whole crowd was beside the sea on the land. And he taught them in great lengths in parables. And in the course of his instructions, he said to them, "Hear this. A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. And other seeds fell on rocky ground, where it had little soil. It sprang up at once, because the soil was not deep. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and it withered for lack of roots. Some seed fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it produced no grain. And some seed fell on rich soil and produced fruit, and came up and grew and yielded 30, 60, and 100-fold. And he added, Whoever has ears to hear ought to hear. And when he was alone, those present along with the 12 questioned him about the parables. And he answered them, The mystery of the kingdom of God has been granted to you, but to those outside everything comes in parables, so that they may look but not see, hear and not listen but not understand, in order that they may not be converted and be forgiven. Jesus said to them, Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand any of the parables? The sower sows the word. These are the ones on the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear, Satan comes at once and takes away the word sown in them. And there are the ones who are sown on rocky ground, who when they hear the word, receive it at once with joy. But they have no roots, and they will only last for a time. But when tribulation or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. And there among them are another sort. They are the people who hear the word, and the worldly anxiety, the lure of riches, the cravings of other things intrude and choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But those sown on rich soil are the ones who hear the word and accept it, and bear fruit 30 and 60 and 100-fold. The Gospel of the Lord.
In this parable, Jesus quotes the prophet Isaiah. And it's kind of, it's a disturbing little prophecy. It implies, at first look, that somehow God is imposing some kind of blindness on someone so they can't hear and see. And so it reads that they may look but not perceive, hear and listen but not understand, in order that they may not be converted and forgiven. This prophecy refers to a time in Israel's history when they were wandering far away and made intentional decisions to not do what God asked them to do for the sake of nurturing a good life. And so in a sense, this is not God imposing a blindness, this is God allowing them to live in their blindness that they chose. So these are intentional decisions where God is pushed out of my life and I don't want to hear what he has to say. I'm blind by choice. I can't hear by choice. I don't want to hear it. This reveals to us that the disposition of the soil that is talked about, the path, the rocky ground, or the thorns, these are conditions that are based on decisions we make. The soil doesn't just happen to be not fertile. It's that way because Jesus is saying there are people who render themselves unable to produce fruit by the decisions they make with intent. I was reminded as I was reading this that in college, I knew somebody. His freshman year was an absolute breeze for him. He was studying to be a mechanical engineer, a tough field in and of itself, and everything came easy to him. And what I found out was he had a photographic memory. Isn't that fantastic? He could flip through the pages of a textbook the night before and ace the exam after studying for about an hour of looking through a book. I want one of those. I never had one of those. Well, it became so easy that by his second semester, his freshman year, he decided he was going to develop a little bit more leisurely life, and he began to discover things like alcohol and marijuana, and he made choices with all these. And it was a great surprise to him when he came back his second year, his sophomore year in college, and his photographic memory was gone. Wow. Imagine to have a gift like that and squander it by some imprudent decisions. The bright side of this is, in this parable, the sower is Jesus, and he's sprinkling the seed everywhere. He doesn't care if it falls on the path or in the rocks or in the thorns. It doesn't matter. He wants to spread the seed, hoping that the people on the path, the people in the thorns, and the people on the rocks, he's hoping that they might just open up. So he's going to keep spreading the seed liberally. And the epitome of the success of the seed's growth comes when the soil finally becomes open by choice of the recipient. The soil, the person who is open and finally allows the seed to penetrate by their choice, by their desire. And so now, here we are. What kind of soil do you want to be?
Regina Caeli, letare